Hello, my name's Susan Rushton, as you can probably tell, and this is Muse. And before we go any further, I need to explain about Muse. This is the one where I get to, I'm thrilled to, I'm delighted to, I'm eager to, I'm happy to talk to people who have been lured by the Muses, one or the other. Then today I'm talking with Jim Kepfer. Thank you, Jim, who is conductor for the Auburn Winds, which is Auburn's, what would you call it?
We're a community concert band.
Community concert band.
Right, yep.
And I've heard them a lot, and it's always a lot of fun. And so you are the conductor, and if you are interested in learning about the Auburn Winds, or are you always looking for new people?
Not always. We've kind of maxed out the size of our band for the stages we perform on and the room we rehearse in. There's a few key parts, instruments not being played that we could use.
For example?
Well, we don't have an oboe player. And
so they need an oboe.
An oboist would be great. We have only 2 French horns, which is, better than none. But we could have maybe 1 or 2 more. And most of the other winds and brass instrument were covered for pretty well. Percussion would be another thing we could use some assistance on.
Okay, so people who know,
if you know
about
how to
the drums.
Know about, and the percussion includes, could be xylophone, timpanis, crash cymbals, drum set, just individual drums. There's a lot to do, but if we just have one person, they'll probably be playing some type of the drum set.
Yeah.
Because they could do multiple things at the same time.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
So
yes.
That's our little plug. Come join the Auburn Winds. You got to know how to read music to a certain level, because it's just going to be too difficult to get by on the amount of music that we perform every rehearsal and every concert if you can't really read music. If you're just playing by ear, you probably manage a few pieces really well, but a lot of what we do, you're going to have to know how to read music.
Yeah, please, read music. Yeah. So, you are the conductor.
I'm the conductor.
And how long have you been the conductor?
Since 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what were you doing before?
I was playing in the group. I'm generally a trumpet player that's the instrument that I'm most proficient in, but along maybe 10 years ago or more, I was substituting for a player that was absent in the Auburn Winds, and I was done with that setup, and they're like, well, you're welcome to stick around with us. I'm like, you've got plenty of trumpet players, you're fine, you're set, because you don't want to have too many of a certain instrument. And they said, well, we were a little shy on low brass. Do you play trombone? And I was like, well, I'm a music teacher. I never practiced trombone a lot, but I practiced it enough to be able to teach my students how to play, and I know where to move your arm for each note, but why don't I give it a try? I thought. So I did, and I was with some good trombone players at the time, and they helped. A man named Tom Canlish was conducting back then. This is, like I said, maybe 10 years ago. And he was quite an outstanding musician, very well known in the area. And things got better, so but after a while, the other trombone players
When you say things got better, you got better.
I could learn to cover the parts pretty well, so I was happy with that. The group needed a conductor, so I would play off and on with them, and they had Tom retired from the group. They hired another guy. They went through a few, and they had come to a conductor from Sacramento State University, quite a accomplished musician and a conductor, and he unfortunately got promoted to higher, not unfortunate for him, but he got promoted to higher involvement at Sac State, and he just
busier
said,
and busier and busier elsewhere.
I can't come to Auburn. So they knew I had a music degree. I was a music teacher in town, and instead of doing a whole nother exhaustive search for trying to find a good conductor and put the information out to all the community bands,
they were convinced that you could do this.
They just thought, hey, would you like to do this? It was like one concert left for the season. This conductor from Sac State did the first 3, and they just had one more left to go. So I was like, okay, well, let me try it and see if you like, because I hadn't been teaching high schools or college, which is the level of music they were playing. I had been teaching very beginning 5th graders how to hold their instruments, and going up to 8th grade with them. So nothing quite near as complicated as high school or college level band music, and that had been my career for like 30 years. So I didn't have a lot of confidence in it at first, but the group, after doing that first concert set with them, everyone agreed that they would love to have me come back. And like I said, that was 2018.
Okay.
And we've been rolling ever since then.
Have you felt that you've gotten better as a...
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah. It's helped to be around such great musicians and listen to them when they have advice, and share what I know and what I love about music with them. So.
What is it you love about music?
Well,
we have time.
Yeah, it's just like, one of those things that I guess everybody has something different they're passionate about, but music itself is something that's always been something I've had. I even though I didn't practice that much when I was growing up.
That sounds
trumpet.
familiar.
Yeah, I didn't. I just loved listening to it and like pretending to be air guitar or something. But in high school, it really began to take over, where I wanted to work hard and be the best trumpet player I could. So I worked really hard, and I've enjoyed practicing trumpet, and just doors have opened to be in different groups and play different places and study it in college, with always learning from people that are better than yourself, and just the whole thing begins to expand, and I just can't begin to describe how much I enjoy music.
Yeah, and you say you like to get people who are better than yourself, but I'm convinced that you are also with people who are
I can help, and
that you
they
can
learn
help,
from me.
and
Yeah.
that you're good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't start there, so
No.
I
But
learned
you got there.
from great people. Yeah, so I know how to share what I've learned,
Yeah.
and I really enjoy that.
And so I have lots of questions. Why do you think music is important?
You've maybe a different answer depending on who you ask, but for me, it's just something that once you begin to love it, you notice that pretty much everyone else you meet also loves it in a certain way. Perhaps they perform, perhaps they don't, but they're happy to share with who some of their favorite artists are, or ways that music has moved them, concerts they've been to 50 years ago that they can still remember from their youth, their greatest moments of their lives, or why is music important? It's such a difficult question to answer, but I think there's just something inside our human nature that's been created that music draws out. So
Yeah. Okay.
I do enjoy it.
Yes. I grew up in a household where everybody but me was really deeply involved with music, and I left that house not knowing how to count. Everybody else knows how to
Yeah,
count.
counting's important.
And at the same time, so I feel really grim that I can't do what they do. They sing, they play, they're just wonderful. At the same time, people who sing and play need someone to listen to them. It's not just
Right.
the wonderfulness, the wonderful part of is playing, but if you're just playing and nobody's listening, it's okay.
Yeah.
You're there with a group and here you are playing.
But with an audience.
With an audience, it's different.
So much more exciting.
Is it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, like before every concert, the last thing we'll do is the Wednesday night rehearsal before that weekend's concert. We'll play through every single piece in the order that we're going to be performing it. And it feels good to have accomplished the difficulties of each piece and to play it well. But then to do that again at the concert, it just adds such an excitement and intensity to it.
What's the difference? Can you explain
Well,
that?
I think it's like when you're doing something you really enjoy and you're sharing that and other people are accepting that and even appreciating it, it's just that much more special
Yeah.
than just doing
Okay.
it for your own enjoyment.
Yeah.
We would still do it even if no one listened to us. We would still practice, but it's just such a bonus, a wonderful blessing to have the great audiences that we do. And we've been performing at Placer High School for the last few concert series because the problems with the State Theater.
Oh, yeah.
We've had,
Yeah.
but before that, for many years, the State Theater was our concert home. 4 times a year we'd perform there. And every now and then that place would be just packed with an audience that was loving what we did and
Yeah.
really cheering hard for us. So
Good.
it's been a lot of good memories at both theaters.
Yes. And when are you? I can't think of the car thing.
Cruise nights.
Cruise night. Are you going to be there?
Our so the Auburn Winds actually has 2 bands, and the one I've been talking about and conducting is our community concert band, the traditional winds and percussion instruments. But the other band was also started right about the time I was in 2018, and that's a big band jazz ensemble.
Yeah.
So traditional, Glenn Miller music or Count Basie or Duke Ellington stuff, and we can play more modern stuff as also if it's arranged for our group, which is 13 winds and saxophone, trombone, and trumpet, and then about 3 or 4 drums. It's called the rhythm section. It's drums, bass guitar, electric guitar, and piano. So for years we performed at those cruise nights.
Yes.
But they went with a different direction this year. We're not sure. So there's been we're hoping another band that's performing. The concert band, however, will be playing at the September cruise night.
Okay.
Friday the 13th of September.
Okay.
And that's more of a patriotic theme because it is always a 9/11 memorial
Yeah.
time with some guest speakers.
Okay.
So that's it won't be our big band playing jazz music.
Do you conduct those guys too?
I play the trumpet. And, yeah. So that's my chance to play music instead of lead music. And if anybody happens to be at the Nevada County Fair on August 13th, or August 11th, excuse me, we'll be playing there.
Oh, good. Okay. Do you do that often?
The Nevada County Fair is once a year. We performed in July, we performed in May. It's like whoever has a need for a big band, jazz, swing band to perform, we see if it works out for us to perform at their event. A lot of times it will.
Good.
And other times we'll just do a concert just featuring the big band, not the community band, and we'll play at one of the theaters in town.
Oh,
too.
cool.
Yeah.
That's neat.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, that music is so fantastic, and to play with an authentic sounding, really good quality big band, it's tremendous. It's kind of funny that we call it the big band, but it's smaller than the community concert band. That's the larger of the two groups. But in jazz groups, a lot of jazz groups are like 5 or 6 people, so they call those combos. But if you go the full route of 16, 17 people like we have, they call it a big band.
It is a big band. Yeah. Now, I have an odd question, and you're the only person I've asked this of. Anybody who is watching a band or anybody playing music, there's a director, and he's pointing and or she or they're pointing and yes and you and still the players have music to work on and an instrument to work with. And how can a musician, this is what I have, my question, how can a musician pay attention to the conductor as well as the music in front of him, as well as their musician, as their the thing they're playing? How can that happen?
After a few rehearsals, as the people get more familiar with their music, we try to introduce some of the more nuanced things that involve them paying attention to me. But musicians should be taught from a young age to just from time to time periodically glance up at the conductor while they're playing, and it's a very difficult thing, but you've got to pay attention to both. You can't lose your place in the music, and you can't get left behind if he's speeding up or slowing down the tempo or asking for something to happen. You can't be the only one in the band that's not getting that instruction. So you just have to be trained in how to pay attention to the conductor while you're playing.
So you get used to it. This is part of one of the things you learn.
You can develop that talent, and it's wonderful because there's so many things about music that when you're with the right group, they don't have to be so rigid that they can't vary the tempo or they can't vary the dynamics, the volumes that we play. We can express things, and with a larger ensemble, you can't do that individually. You've got to go with what I'm leading them. And a good example of this was I just finished conducting a pit orchestra in Nevada City. There's an outstanding theater group up there called Sierra Stages, and I was involved with their show last year, Guys and Dolls.
Yeah, you like that, Phil.
This year's show was called Honk, and instead of playing, I was conducting the pit orchestra that provided all the music, the live music, and really great musicians. A small number. There's only 5 of them, but there's so much room in these songs with a soloist singing out on the center stage to kind of speed things up or slow things back and just really express the tenderness of the moment or the excitement, or depending on where the stage production is, where the song is. And the pit orchestra was just so good at every little nuance I was showing them, trying to express the music. They would always pick up on it and play precisely what they needed. They're true professionals. So that was a great moment for me to enjoy this last month.
I could tell because you did this.
Yeah.
You're was holding your heart.
Yeah. And the Auburn Winds is quite good about it. A few of the people need to be kind of prodded, to reminded that this is how we do it. There's plenty of people that are just as experienced as I am in music and just as involved and never need to be reminded to watch. They know how to watch. They know how to follow what I'm giving them. So,
good.
yeah, it's a big part of how to make the notes come alive and make them into music.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
it's not an easy thing, Susan, but these people are very talented.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's clear. Yes. Now you've told me that you've been teaching children how to play. Where was this?
The Auburn schools. I've been in the Auburn School District
So you've
since
been
1995.
hopping.
Alta Vista, Sky Ridge, Rock Creek, Auburn Elementary, and E.V. Kane. And not every school every day. And it's been different formations of what I've been required to do and helping kids out with. But on and off, it's been since 1995 that I've been with the district, and I just retired at the last June at the end of this school year. So most of the time I was at E.V. Kane, but there was also lots of elementary school kids that I've been working with as well. Sometimes even singing songs with kindergartners and first graders.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Is that what you had in mind when you were young?
No, I didn't think about being a music teacher till I was about halfway through college. I had been studying music, but trying to see how good of a performer I could be on trumpet, if I could make it professionally. And my college professor told me about how many trumpet players were in the union in the Los Angeles area. And, it kind of...
Not very many or too
no,
many?
there was like
Tons.
well over 1,000.
Oh, gee.
So, and he said, you've learned so many things so well. You would, some great players, they don't know how to articulate what they've learned and share it with the youngster and help them pick it up. But because you've been so receptive to the teaching and learned so many things, and you've gained a lot of knowledge, and you can really help people learn how to play instruments. So and that was the best advice anybody's ever given me. I've been teaching in this area actually since 1989. I was at Bowman in St. Joseph's where I first started. So.
Was it difficult teaching little ones? Yes.
There's difficulties.
Depends on the kid.
Yeah, but kids overall are just, enjoyable for me to be around. There's just a lot of energy and excitement that they have that I enjoy that a lot. I get to be goofy with them. They like that. They make me laugh.
A goofy music
I
teacher.
like to try and make them laugh. Doesn't always work.
Yeah, okay. What kind of music do you like best?
Well, that's a broad question.
Yeah,
I'll say.
I know.
Count Basie and Frank Sinatra are just. I love listening to big band jazz, and they kind of define that for me. I love opera, Mozart and Verdi and Wagner and Puccini. Puccini. I love. My wife listens to lots of different types of music, and I just find out that there isn't really a type of music I don't like. It's just like sometimes I haven't listened to as much, but pretty much anything I'm listening to or exposed to, it just begins to grow inside of me, and I find lots of wonderful things about it, and the songs just begin to capture me. This past year or two, I was teaching choir at E.V. Kane, and they'd want to sing songs by people that I would not have ever listened to, but just by hearing these songs over and over, they began to be really enjoyable to me. So
especially with these kids.
Yeah, and they were songs that they enjoyed, so it's kind of surprising. I didn't think I'd like a lot of pop music from that 12-year-olds are listening to, but some of it's pretty enjoyable.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have some favorite composers, so do I. What advice do you have for beginning musicians?
A beginning musician, well, I would want it to always be something that is not just work for them, that you do have to work at it, and don't be afraid of that, because you could see some amazing accomplishments, but you should always find a way to make it work.
Because the more you do, the better you get.
Yeah, you should always find a way to make that work coincide with something that you are really proud of, the school band or a musical production you're doing. That's the thing that really worked for me, is it made sense for me to practice, because I went to Nevada Union High School and I loved playing in the band up there, and there was community bands and community orchestras, so there was a reason to work hard at being really good on the trumpet so I could contribute to these groups and enjoy making music.
Okay. And there's always, I remember being, when I was young, there's going to be a time when I don't make mistakes. I can hardly wait when I stop making mistakes. And that hasn't come yet. And I'm aware that musicians are also are just like me. They make mistakes, and I can imagine that. Yes. Oh crap! Excuse me. Oh shoot! I made a mistake. But if I'm not playing, it's oh well, okay. But if I'm playing, I can't think about it. I can't pay attention to that, because here comes something else. And how do you solve that problem? Or do you?
Yeah, well, if you know where the mistakes are going to be made, you could practice on that specific section of music as much as you can.
Do it more and more.
Yeah, I mean, just try and be better. Like the best musicians, when they make mistakes, you feel like it was intentional, like they meant to play it that way. They're just so good. So, but really, you can't focus on what just happened. You've got so much to worry about with what's coming up. You got to continue preparing yourself for the next entrance that you make, and you can't worry about what you've done.
Okay. I guess you should. You can say, yes, I'm probably going to make a mistake. I don't want to, but I'm not going to dwell on it. Okay. I've worked hard.
Right.
I can do this.
Prepared yourself as best you can.
Yeah.
Now let's just enjoy making music.
Yeah, let's just enjoy it. I've been talking to Jim Kepfer, who is the conductor of Auburn Winds. And if you are interested in the Auburn Winds and maybe you want to play with them, work with them and play with them, auburnwinds.org. And keep your eyes and ears out, and maybe you can find them playing today, soon. Jim, thank you very much for joining me.
You're welcome, Susan. It's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure, I agree. Thank you. And thank you for watching.